you use.
Don't worry about that. We don't use their recommended rate.
Right, any rate. Hey there! No worries. We are happy to have you here. All right, let me get back onto the writing and chatting side of things. And I'll be reading through the last chapter we wrote in a moment, and we'll discuss the plot points we still need to cover, and then we'll get into actual decision making and writing. So, bloop, bloop, bloop. This was a long chapter, as I recall. Wow, we've covered 82, 8.5 inch by 11 inch. Where is it going? Okay. 8.5 by 11 inch pages. So those were the last time we had questions. That's right, I've been dropping them at the end of things. Okay, so here's we are. We got these plot points to wrap up still. We got Seymour and Delilah. What's going to happen with those two? Officer Jacobs, DeVries, and Officer Tolston. What's going to happen with those two? Lauren Sands and Detective Early Mann. Where's that going? Mortus and the whole stream crew reunion. Got that coming up. An insight into Spin's thoughts about the whole affair, which was suggested by courtesy of Ubi. Let's see. Okay, good. I'm glad my mic sounds fine because it's a little bit far from me, so.
It's not like
And apparently I just made it tip over, so there we go.
but you have to make sure.
There. I think that works.
Yeah, this is part of
Okay. Good deal.
Otherwise,
Hey, Cal! Good to see you. All right. Now, those are the plot points we've got to wrap up. Hey, Linda! Lovely to see you all. Happy to have you here. So these are the 6 plot points we're going to end up having to wrap up, which will probably be a chapter apiece at least. Seymour and Delilah, Officer Jacobs, DeVries, and Officer Tolston. What's going to happen with those 3? Lauren Sands and Detective Early Mann. Where's that going? Mortus and the whole stream crew reunion. Easy for me to say. An insight into Spin's thoughts in the whole affair, which was suggested by our audience. And then Mortus and Mike Daniels, debriefing for the military op. Since we started with Mortus and Mike Daniels, that's probably where we'll end up, as that will give us an opportunity for kind of a sequel potential. And in fact, anything that we don't cover in this book can become potential for a sequel, so hold tight, we may continue with this series. Delilah joins the band after much discussion. That is an entire possibility. Or, plot twist, we may have Delilah do something different. So, let's decide where we're going first. Confronting Delilah. Let's see. It's Lauren and the detective.
I think so, Cal.
What?
Read your chat.
I'm working on it, sir. I'm working on it. Delilah gets together with Spin. No, but Fireball might. You never know. A cat and a monkey. Who knows? All right. Let's see. Cabman 5, yeah. Let's see. Mortus and the... You know what? I think Mortus and the stream reunion are definitely going to happen after. So we'll give you those 2 options. Let's see. Jacobs. DeVries and Tolston. We'll give you an option of where to start, or for the sake of silliness, we can Sven's thoughts. There we go. There's your 4 options for where we're going to start today's work. And while that poll is running, I will go ahead and read through the past chapter so we know where we left off. Bloop, 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 bloop. Go all the way up to the top. This wasn't actually, for the pacing of our novel, this is actually a pretty long chapter. Chapter 23, On the Way to Delilah. Seymour didn't know what Delilah was going to think about all this when she found 2 strangers on the doorstep. Honestly, he wasn't sure he cared. He hated to think she'd been using him this whole time. Was her affection for him even real, or was it all part of the plan? He hated dragging his buddies into the drama, but he figured it was the best way to get them a place to rest and her to give him honest answers, especially when confronted with who she'd hurt, aside from him, with her decisions. A little voice in his mind said he probably ought to prepare his friends for Delilah. After all, they didn't ask to be part of this, and there was no way for him to tell just how she'd react ahead of time. His embarrassment about being taken for a ride by her once again, and his financial difficulties warred with his desire to protect his friends and at the same time confront her with what she'd done. The hurt was real, but the pain was to his pride and his wallet more than anything. He was angry at himself for having let her distract him. If he hadn't arrived when he did, who knew how badly things might have gone for Hawkeye and Mortus. He also didn't look forward to admitting to Mortus that he suspected him, at least originally, of having caused Hawkeye's disappearance. That was an ugly thing to have on his conscience. He took a deep breath and decided there was no way forward except to man up and be honest. "Guys, I need to warn you about something before we get to the hotel." Mortus cocked his head to the side. "What's up, brother?" Seymour frowned and reached over to turn down the volume. "The woman sleeping in that hotel room is my old girlfriend, and I don't know how she's connected to all of this, but she was sent by someone to distract me from getting to you." Hawkeye leaned forward. "What do you mean?" "I read her texts. Someone sent her to intercept me when I was on my way to Mammoth Caves looking for you, Hawkeye. They wanted her to distract me," he explained. "I'm just sorry it worked." Hawkeye and Mortus didn't say anything. Seymour could feel beads of sweat at the nape of his neck and on his hairline. What were they thinking? Hawkeye's frown deepened. "I'd sure be interested in who sent her those texts." Seymour volunteered the name identified in her caller ID. "Someone named DeVries. Couldn't tell you if that's a first or a last name. Can tell you for sure it was a man who answered." Hawkeye thumped his fist on his knee. "That bastard is at the bottom of all this? I'd sure like to get a look at those text messages." Seymour gave a tight-lipped smile. "I've got screen captures of them for you if she tries to deny it. I wanted insurance before I left." Hawkeye clapped him on the shoulder from the back seat. "I appreciate you, brother. Maybe she can help us unravel more of the mystery." Seymour noticed that Mortus remained silent, staring out the window. "You all right, Mortus?" That called him back. "Yeah, man, just putting some pieces together in my own mind." Seymour wondered what Mortus knew. How did you know to look for Hawkeye at Mammoth Caves? Mortus hesitated for a moment and then shrugged. "I received a package and was told to go there. The person who sent me the package told me to look for Hawkeye." That was an interesting twist. "So what was up with that scavenger hunt you announced on stream?" Mortus explained. "It was the only way I could think of to alert you guys to the fact that I was searching for Hawkeye without explicitly saying so on stream. I knew I was being monitored, and I couldn't just tell you what I needed to tell you. I was hoping you would be smart enough to put the pieces together. Seems I was right to trust you." Seymour felt even more guilty for the undeserved praise. "Well, we did connect the dots once Lauren reported that Hawkeye was missing and there was shattered glass and blood on the pavement outside his house." "I'm grateful for your help, guys," Hawkeye said. "If not for you, I don't know what I would have done." Mortus spoke up. "What did they want with you anyway?" Hawkeye surprised them both with his answer. "A map?" Seymour couldn't help himself. He laughed. Like, seriously? A treasure map? That's pretty metal right there. Hawkeye snorted. Nah, not like a treasure map. It's more like a map to a base the CIA was operating out in South America. Drug smuggling in tunnels, the whole 9 yards. Mortus whistled. Holy smokes, I wasn't expecting that. Seymour couldn't believe his ears. What the heck does the CIA have to do with drug smuggling? Hawkeye chuckled. A lot. I could tell you, but I'd probably have to kill you after. Seymour snorted. You serious? Hawkeye grinned. About what? The CIA smuggling drugs? Or me having to kill you after telling you about it? Seymour glanced up at him through the rearview mirror. Both? Hawkeye shrugged. Oh, heck yeah, about the CIA. Don't get me started about them. I could tell you horror stories that would set your hair on fire. Seymour prompted. And the killing me thing? Hawkeye winked at him. That I made up. Seymour nodded. I thought so. Hawkeye grinned. Maybe. Mortus gave Hawkeye a look. Stop messing with Seymour, man. You're gonna give the man a heart attack. Hawkeye chuckled. You know me, man. I can't resist. Seymour shook his head. You're such a dick, man. But I'm glad we got you back anyway. Alright, so that's where that chapter ended. So let's see what the poll says. Time for the poll report. Lauren and the detective and a little bit of Spin's thoughts. Alright. So we're going to end that poll. And now we get to go back and visit Lauren and the detective. Before we confront dear Delilah. Insert. Scroll down here. Break. Page break. Yes, you guys are getting the narrated version of everything. Isn't that fabulous, darlings? Simply fabulous. Alright, chapter 23. Oh, let's make sure this is at a text size that you guys can easily read. I tend to forget to check that. Yeah, that's 11 point. You guys need at least a 16. My numpad, oh, probably because I have numlocker. Didn't want to work. There we go. That's better. Yes, he is adorable. Oh, you know what? Yes, the chapter I just read was 23, so this would be 24. Thank you, good catch. Sometimes my numbering system fails me. And actually, there's a really good way to fix that problem. Is to actually show the, hold on just a second. Not that, not that. If I show the stupid thing, the index in the give me just a second. I'm gonna have to drop the size for a moment. Yeah, see that? If that is showing, then I can easily tell when I've misnumbered. But I couldn't, so I'd lost track of it. All right. Still readable? I want to make sure you guys can follow along, of course. Do. I don't know. Let's see. What is his reaction gonna be? That's always a good question, right? Because how you react to news tells people a lot about who you are. Is he skeptical? I'm glad to hear he's safe. Did he tell you where he's been? She shook her head. No, he didn't have a lot of time to talk and said he'd explain later. Did he say he'd explain later? I don't know. I don't remember what he said. This is the hazard of writing, is that sometimes you forget what you already said, so you have to go back up and remind yourself. And let's see. Because I know that they called Lauren in the last chapter somewhere. Or maybe it was in chapter 22 that they actually called her. Yeah, it was in the chapter 22. Yeah, and he did say he'll tell her more about it soon. Okay. So I just want to confirm that that is actually what happened. Because when you have those continuity errors, it yanks readers right out of your story. And then they're not enjoying the story. They're busy trying to hunt down facts and data to make the thing make sense. An N on the word no. Did I? It looks spelled okay to me. No, no. Oh, that's right. Wait a minute. The detective was keeping the cat, so that wouldn't make sense. Okay. So we can't have Fireball in that. Did I? Okay, hold on. Let's make sure that I didn't miss an N, because it's easy to do. Do. Yeah, she can't caress Fireball. Ah, there it is. Thank you, Cal, keeping me straight on that. Yeah, definitely has good eyes. That's the benefit of having more people with me when I'm writing. I get my errors caught sooner. A mastiff. That would be an interesting roommate for the detective. Dinner and a donut. There we go. So Lauren and the detective are going to be together for dinner at least. Oh, that's true. That's true. Oh, that's a little dramatic. All right, so let's see. All right, so now we got Detective Man. We've gotten Lauren. Oh no, I would. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Cal. That's a good. I'm gonna more about Lauren and her background. I mean, it's always nice to toss in those things. We've given ourselves a brand new chapter, and we're getting ready to start yet another one. Break. Page break. Boop-a-doo. Chapter 25. Now we got a question. Yeah, I gotta love the hotel. Well, actually got our own private internet. We're not using the hotels. It's a portable internet though, and it is affected because we are on an inside wall, which means it doesn't have clear access to the signals, the cell tower signals. So, oh dear. Did we lose it? Hmm. Oh, yep. They lost it. Yeah, it's not streaming. There we go. Okay, it's back now. Okay. Yeah, we're just having a little difficulty. There's a storm, and we're on an inside wall. Makes the signal have to work harder. Yeah. Alright, so now we have the next set of rounds. I guess we could do a little bit. We did have a vote, a single vote for Spin's thoughts. Oh yeah, we need to pop open the chat, make it bigger. Or not the chat. Spin's perspective. It was all monkey business as far as Spin was concerned. A new car, new people, new places, a bunch of running around and chasing things. Human beings were such an odd lot. So excitable. Over so little. Alrighty. Time to monkey around. Yes. Eek, eek. Yeah, I used to love MASH. MASH was my favorite for a long time. I look at it a little differently these days, but it was my favorite at the time. That's true. It's a possible plot twist that Spin has been a plant on Mortus. That's true. I don't know. This is a good question. You know, that would completely change how we write this scene, wouldn't it? And it would make Spin's role in this a little bit more interesting. The question is, how would they be using him? What would be the mechanism? Mm-hmm. You know, given it's a primate, and primate experiments are totally a thing, it would not be hard for them to do an audio implant or like a chip in the monkey's brain that would allow them to pick up auditory and visual signals, I suppose. That's a possibility we could toss in there. A GPS tracker under his skin, that's also a possibility.
Selling them out for bananas.
Selling him out for bananas. Papayas and mangoes, man. Bananas are cheap fare. You know what? It's also possible a sinister monkey wrench in the plot. Ha 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 ha. Yes, monkey wrench. Ha ha ha. All right. Wait. You know, we have to go back and reread the chapter because I have to remember exactly what was going on. And it's been a while, so I have to go back over to the chapter where the monkey encountered. Yeah, my husband's dying, so please excuse him for all the noise. And forgive him for his interruption to our fun festivities. Please stop dying, it's annoying me. No, just kidding. Let's see. Boop-a-doo. Seymour's arrival. Okay, so these. Seymour's arrival. No. All right. The double agent, I think, is where we were. Okay. Okay, so she's got him in captivity. She's marching him forward. Now we get Spin into the mix. He's going about scampering off in the direction. Okay, so a woman's voice followed by a man's and Hawkeye's. Okay, so actually in between here, there was a confrontation. That's right. There's a confrontation between Jacobs and Tolston and Hawkeye. Okay. GPS and the brain implant. Yeah, I think that would be Agent 99 and a third reporting for duty. No, he doesn't have allergies. He literally just swallowed wrong. Oh, okay. Sorry.
That wasn't what was causing it, though. You're right.
Yeah. Julia messaged you a minute ago. All those tabs draw my attention. Can't help it. Yeah, I know. Sorry. Yeah, she messaged me. She's. Let me close out those tabs so they stop distracting you. Sorry. My husband gets on to me about all the tabs that I tend to keep open. Probably doesn't help anything. Oh goodness. 'It's okay, Jeff. It's all right. It's it is what it is. We all have our things. 8 million tabs and a cluttered desktop were always your pet peeves. You're working on them now, but they still rear their head once in a while. Sometimes it's cows. Yeah. Oh no, that wouldn't work. She wouldn't do that because the CIA guy. Yes, Sven would be an expert at reading body language. That's true. We'll make Sven's chapter super short because, I don't have a lot to say from Sven's perspective. I suppose we could think about what to add. The problem is with signing that the CIA would likely be the message would likely be intercepted by the military guy that was taking charge of her, um, Jacobs, Officer Jacobs. So it would have to be something more subtle. I think she activated the chip or whatever in him. That's what pushing the black button was all about. Yes. Yeah, it's possible. Hey, Snug! Good to see you. It's been a while. How you been? Alright, so we have actually finished 2 chapters now. We're the count today. We got one wonderful chapter done. Two wonderful chapters done. Not bad. So we know that Spin has got a little bit of monkey business going on, something. So I'll read over chapter 25. It was all monkey business as far as Spin was concerned. A new car, new people, new places, bunch of running around and chasing things. Human beings were such an odd lot. So excitable over so little. His senses picked up discomfort on the part of the one Mortus called Seymour, and sour body sweat from the one called Hawkeye. He'd seen them both on the moving picture screen that Mortus displayed in their bedroom back home, but it was different meeting them in person. He wasn't sure exactly what they were doing or why they were in the car again, but everyone seemed to be chittering away quite animatedly. And, let's see, fix that. And he was content to keep his tail wrapped tightly around Mortus's neck as he hung onto his back. It was comforting. His mind kept going back over the image he'd seen when he found Hawkeye and that blonde woman in the cave. She'd been threatening Hawkeye with something black, and Spin hadn't liked the way her face looked. It had been menacing. He liked it even less when she'd pressed a button and the ringing in his ears began, sending him running back toward Mortus as fast as he could go. He didn't want to be anywhere near her. He ran up Mortus's pants leg and climbed up his shoulders, grabbing the man's hair and trying to tug him toward the entrance. But Mortus wasn't paying attention. He'd caught sight of Hawkeye, and that was all he cared about after that. So Spin wrapped his tail as tightly around Mortus as he could, stabilizing himself before the conflict could begin. Then the unexpected. A blonde man confronting the blonde woman. She didn't seem happy to see him. Spin was trained in Russian. He knew what they were saying, even if he couldn't speak it. The woman warned the man to stop, that if he took another step, she'd warn the men in the van about him. The blonde man laughed at her and held up a black box. He told her he had evidence they would find very interesting if he showed it to them. She didn't seem to like that. Then 5 more blonde men appeared and she let Hawkeye go. She gave the 5 blonde men orders to let him pass. They seemed suspicious, but followed her orders. There we go. Let's correct that. Spin didn't trust her. He suspected she was not done with causing problems, but he couldn't tell Mortus that. Mortus, Hawkeye, and Seymour seemed in a hurry to leave. Spin wanted away from her anyway. She'd been the one responsible for causing that pain in his ears. He settled down once they got into the car and he could no longer see her, but he didn't forget. She was trouble, that one, and he was not confident that she would stay gone. Mortus handed him a banana as they got on the road, and Spin happily munched on it, letting his mind go back over the events of the day. Something about that blonde woman seemed familiar to him, but he wasn't sure what it was. A brief flash of a memory, an unpleasant scent, a surge of fear whenever she came to mind. He let out an indignant screech as he thought about it. She was dangerous, and he didn't know how to get himself far enough away from that danger to make sure it couldn't hurt him or Mortus. "Quiet, buddy," Mortus said, reaching up a hand to soothe him. "Nothing's gonna hurt you. Everything's okay." Spin snorted and resumed eating the banana. Mortus was wrong, but he didn't have a way to communicate that, so he focused on the food as a way of distracting himself from his worries. I'm gonna try and record something for the attic if the neighbor stops mowing. Actually, record the neighbor mowing. Maybe that'll be for the attic. Alright, so that is what we've got. Okay, so we now have an insight into Spin's thoughts about the whole affair. We've done that. We've got an idea where Lauren Sands and Detective Early Man are going to dinner together. Or more to the point, she's going over to his house for dinner. Seymour and Delilah, we're still questioning what's going to happen with those two. Then we've got Officer Jacobs, DeVries, and Tolston. And the confrontation with that. We got a whole steam crew reunion, which will happen after they get to Delilah's. And then we've got Mortus and Mike Daniels debriefing for the military operation. So we've actually managed to cover a lot of plot points. We are now on chapter 26. We'll be picking that up next week. Thank you guys so much for joining me this week. It's been great having you. Always appreciate you being here with me and appreciate your contributions. If you've got any ideas or suggestions, let me know. Things that you'd like us to try, things that you think we should do in the next chapter or two, give me some ideas. I'm always open. And as always, it's a good stream. By the way, let me go ahead and if you want the link to the actual novelette that we have been working on, I will post that in chat here. So there's the Google Doc link. You can view it. If you make a copy, you can conceivably edit it to your heart's content. I believe you can actually do that. Let me verify that you could do that. Let me go into incognito mode and try it out. I think that you could. No, you can download it though. So yeah, you could download it and then re-upload it and everything, but you can't make a copy. Okay. Good to know. Yep. I know, we're on fire, right? We are wrapping up. We are making good time. It has been amazing. Hard to believe we're at 24 weeks into this or so, maybe even more. We've certainly got a lot accomplished. I'll talk to y'all next week. Happy Easter to those I don't see before the end of this day.